Good evening and welcome to another edition of Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette, broadcasting live from beautiful Cape May County, New Jersey. Why did I say Cape May County? I don't know. Cape May, New Jersey, and it actually is less than beautiful. It's been raining all week. It's been terrible. But I'm broadcasting live nonetheless via SHR Media and streaming live here on Facebook. Welcome, 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 everyone. Look at everybody piling up in the Facey chat. Welcome, John and Paul and Doug, Dwight, Ronaldo, Carwin, Jim. How are you guys? I hope you all had a splendid week. Ronald Owens, welcome. It's actually been a rather challenging. It's been a rather challenging week. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. It just has been not terrible, but just challenging. Mike and Andy and Brock, hello, welcome. My guest today, ladies and gents, is Sunny Lee, and she's the founder of Money Master Kids. We're going to talk about if your child is a money monster or a money master. Hey, Andy. Hey, Damien. Hey, Mike. And I met her at the National Publicity Summit in Manhattan a few weeks ago. Very excited to talk to her today. Sackhead Sean, the boss man, is in the Facey chat. I hope you are doing well. My best wishes to Sackhead Sean Lewis, who is under the weather today. Kevin, how are you? I hope you are well. Chris, I hope you are well. Welcome everybody. But as I was saying, I met Sunny, and she's indeed Sunny. Her appearance fits her name. You guys are going to find that out in a few minutes. But we're going to talk about your kids and money. Merry Christmas to you, Mike. And as someone who is in education and teaches financial literacy, I was particularly interested in what Sunny had to say. It is a challenge for kids. I'm laughing. I apologize to those in SHR Media Land who are like, what is she laughing at? I'm laughing at my friends in the Facey chat. Kevin says, would you look at that sweater? You're not listening to what I'm saying. Some very important economic, financial stuff, Kevin. You focus. But I'm really excited to have her on the show because it is apparent to me that parents could use some assistance in speaking to their kids about money and talking to them about money. And so we're going to talk about that today. I'm excited to have her on the show. But in the meantime, let's talk about a little bit of housekeeping. I want to thank my sponsors. I know you guys are really excited about ads. Everybody loves to hear advertising. I'm kidding. But I know you don't. But I have a brand new ad today for a sponsor that's been around for a while. I'm excited that I'm going to get to play it today. And this is John Campbell at Biz Social Media Personal Touch. Is my newest sponsor, and the ad took a little bit longer because John Campbell asked if I would voice it myself, and so I did. Hello there, Eric Jessup and John and Rob. How are you? So I did. So it took a little bit longer, and hopefully it sounds okay. The client liked it, so that was good. And I'd also like to thank my sponsors, Robert Houston at MrCreditRepair.biz, and of course the one, the only Eva Rosenberg, aka the Tax Mama. If you missed her on the show last week, you definitely want to check out her show last week. She gave us a lot of great information on the Trump tax cuts, all the different changes that have been made to the tax plan and how you can adjust. And, you can go to her website and ask taxmama.com and ask a free tax question. But you might want to go back and listen to the show, just saying. John, you're welcome, darling. John Campbell is in the Facebook chat, newest sponsor at Biz Social Personal Touch. So excited about playing his new ad today. And Destiny Bland, a former student of mine, I may have attempted to teach her financial literacy. Hi, Destiny. I hope you are well. Hello, Brian. I see Ron Edwards is in the Facey chat. Brand new Ron Edwards notebook today as well. Lee Park, Dee Prentice. Hello. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the news. The Dow is officially in a bear market. What does that mean? What that means is that It's fallen that stocks have fallen to a 20% low from their high. It's not a 20% low. They've fallen 20% from their high, which is not awesome news. But keep in mind that while it's not, the sweater is surviving. That while that is not awesome news that we're in a bear market officially, we just like are skirting the edge of the bear market. It's cyclical. It's probably going to come right back up. And Doug in the Facey chat says the Federal Reserve did it. And I didn't hear today how much they raised the interest rates. But I will say that they have been raising the interest rates really quickly. Like something like 8 times. And it's really been fast, which is a problem. There's also, you haven't benefited from the tax cuts, John Fletcher? Well, whenever people say, I will say this, whenever people say that they haven't benefited from the tax cuts, I always tell them to also check their municipalities and their state taxes. Because your municipality, your school taxes are really sky high. And that sounds weird coming from someone who teaches in public education, but I'm all about telling the truth. Author says that most economists said they should have lowered the Fed a half a point. Yeah, I mean, you may be right about that. And there's also other things going on. You have the trade war going on, and I know people don't like to hear that that's a factor, but it is. You have Brexit, and I know all my Trump people, not that I'm not, hey June, good to see you, welcome. Hey Todd, this is not a dig on Trump. It's just, it's his different way of doing things, and it's the way the press is treating how he's doing things. So you have a combination of bad things going on, of just turbulence going on and uncertainty going on in the market. And when you have that going on, then it's a problem. And yes, Doug is right. The Fed wants to affect 2020, but also, listen, we're trying to get the fundamentals back to a normal economy. Remember when, Barack Obama was president and we weren't raising the interest rates at all? And the fundamentals in the economy are doing well. Even, salaries are starting to be raised. We have record low unemployment, and all of those things are really good. Yes, the press is still the enemy of her. I'm not suggesting that they aren't still the enemy. But you have all of that going on, and the market doesn't like any of that. Plus, you take into consideration that it's the end of the year. So, everybody's kind of wrapping up their books, closing their notebooks up and going away. So, and then, not for nothing, you also have the close of the government, which is not really a close of the government, but the media will have you believe it's a close of the government. I mean, 75% of the government will still be running, and as one of my memes pointed out the other day, they're still taking our money. They're pretty much still running. So it's really not much to worry about. Kevin says the government is the enemy. Eric says taxes, tariffs equals tax equals bad. Well, it's not quite that simple, Eric. It's not quite that simple. China does need to be put in check. And on that, from a policy perspective, I agree. I wish that the Trump advisors, I wish everybody would stay on message. Let's just put it that way. It just seems that Navarro and Ludlow and Trump, frankly, are never like all on the same page. And I don't know whether that is done, if that's some kind of like messaging genius that's going on that I don't understand. Very possible that it's above my head and above my pay grade. Or if things are legitimately, that wasn't also meme. That wasn't also meme, Eric. Or if the messaging is legitimately not that clean. And the messaging just seems to me that it's not all that clean. So, anywho, all I'm going to say about that. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. I want to welcome everybody to the Facey Chat. So glad to hear you, see you guys. I'm welcoming your questions. My guest today is Sunny Lee, founder of Money Master Kids. She's going to talk to us today about whether or not your child is a money master or a monster. And I have a feeling she's going to come up with some great tips to help you change your money monster into a money master. We have a brand new Ron Edwards notebook coming your way right now.
Democrats are clamoring for the impeachment of Donald Trump. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards notebook, Mrs. Clinton and Mr. Obama are running around free after the Benghazi debacle and the massive sale of U.S. uranium to the Russians and the fake dossier designed to destroy Trump. Adam Shifty Schiff is chomping at the bit to become the next House Intelligence Chairman, claiming that Trump could face jail time for campaign finance charges, including payments to 2 women. The original charge of Russian collusion is without merit. However, the actual reason Democrats and others hope to destroy Trump and his family are: 1, he has stood up to the open border crowd and is fighting to secure our borders and protect our national sovereignty. 2, he brought the economy back from the ruin of the previous administration. Sadly, not one Democrat wants the Americans safe from rampant illegal border crossers. Thus, they are hoping to besmirch Trump's name to the point that Americans will be afraid to publicly support him or his policies during the next election cycle. But I have a funny feeling the Democrats will soon fall on their own sword. I'm Ron Edwards. Join me on Fridays at AmericanMatters.us and SHRmedia.com at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and 12 a.m. Sunday on the Talk America Radio Network.
Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
What are the 2 most effective English words? Thank you. Just hearing them makes me warm inside. John Campbell makes it easier for you to spread the love, in a cordial way, of course. With John Campbell Biz Social Personal Touch, send thank you cards to your grandparents, boss, or business partners. Our campaign store has pre-made templates and 5 touch campaigns specific to a number of industries to add a personal touch to any business communication. Want to make someone feel all warm inside? Think of John Campbell Biz Social Personal Touch at www.sendoutcards.com/personal touch.
Welcome back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette, and I am broadcasting via SHR Media and streaming live on Facebook. Welcome, everyone. My guest today is Sunny Lee. She is the founder of Money Master Kids. She's going to talk to us today about your child being a money master or a money monster. And without further ado, Ms. Sunny Lee, how are you?
How are you, Melanie? Thank you so much for having me here today on your show. I mean, this is one of the most interactive, most exciting shows I've ever been on.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you very
What an
much.
energy. And just people responding to you, leaving comments. I mean, it just really blew my mind.
I have some very loyal listeners, and very loyal people who watch the show. I'm very blessed in that way. And
Hi, all the loyal listeners out there. You guys are the best.
And there's coffee in my mug. There's always much talk about what I'm drinking every show. It's coffee today, ladies and gents.
Wonderful.
Yes, that is coffee. This is your first time on the show. I'd love for you to tell the audience a bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'm a financial advisor. I'm an IRA. I'm an investment advisor representative, and I'm the CEO of Good Life Advisors. It's an insurance and investment firm, small firm, located in Torrance, California. Yeah, it's a sunny, warm here. You know, it's not raining, and I don't think that we're going to see white Christmas here. But so I have a company, and I'm an author of a book called "Is Your Child a Money Master or a Money Monster?" I really hope and believe all the listeners out there, you guys are the creators of money masters, not money monsters.
Excellent.
And over the last 2 years, I had a wonderful opportunity to speak to more than 30,000 people around the world to talk about the importance of teaching kids, money mastery and financial literacy and, things like that. Awesome. Thank you for asking me the question.
Yes, excellent. And, I think I may have shared with you when I met you that I teach financial literacy in a high school, but that only 6 states in the country require financial literacy.
Right. I remember you saying that.
Sure. And so what you do is really important in offering parents advice on how to turn their kids into money masters, because it's not happening. I hear, and somebody in the Facebook chat already said, my listener June said that her son's a money monster. He's always asking. Asking for money.
I totally agree with you, because now let's talk about Christmas. Christmas is coming just around the corner. This is the most wonderful time of the year for many people out there. But at the same time, it can be the most expensive time of the year. Like buying all kinds of gifts for children, family members. And, somebody said, actually the statistic that I read recently said that Americans spend almost about $700 billion on holiday shopping alone. Just to give it some perspective, last year, U.S. government spent about $610 billion on military expenditures. So that means that we spend more money for holiday shopping than for the military budget to protect our country.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
That is a lot of money. And that seems like that's not the reason for the season.
Right. So I recently, sent out this message on social media saying, during this holiday season, give your kids the gift of money mastery and life mastery, teaching your kids about financial life skills that will last for a lifetime, not just money or a gift that may last for a day or, for a season. Many people love that. They responded, but I wonder how many parents in this country and also in this world actually are giving the gift of money mastery and life mastery during this time. Most people complain about they spend too much money to buy gifts for their kids, but how many parents and, grandparents, teachers, mentors, the uncles and aunts, everybody who care about children's future and their well-being, how many of you actually use the holiday season as a time to teach your kids the basic financial skills? I wonder.
Well, what's funny about that question is I think many of us as adults don't even use basic financial skills, even when we know them. And I'm not talking about anyone that I know, Melanie Collette being one of the major offenders. I teach this stuff. I give people advice on this stuff to why, those who can't do teach,
Right. I'm totally with you. A lot of people said that this kind of famous quote, too many people spend money they don't have to buy the things they don't want to impress people they don't like. How many people, how many of us actually buy things to impress people who don't really care about them, right? So the thing about children is that children never listen to adults. Some people said that, I agree. But they always imitate them. They watch us and copy us. They notice all the little things. So if we, meaning, you and me, all the listeners out there, parents, grandparents, and all these people who love and care about children and their future, if we want them to become money masters, and we really need to teach them. I mean, nobody learns everything automatically. We need to teach them to become money masters. And I believe that it all starts with, first of all, money master mindset. When I said you start with the mindset, a lot of people kind of wonder, mindset. But I believe so, because we are shaped by our thoughts. And we become what we think about, especially our children. They become what we, their parents think about. So, any kind of money, any kind of mastery in our life start with the thought. So it is really important, especially around this Christmas time, to share something positive and healthy about money. And then plant the seed of good money mastery in their mind. And then that is the very first step of helping them to become money masters.
So what would you
I call it the seed of money mastery.
I like it. So in other words, plant the seed that this is important, that money is not just, something that you deal with all willy-nilly, so to speak, but you should actually be taking care of it. This is something that's important. This is something that you should be managing with some intent.
Right. You just nail it. Because money is very neutral, If we don't master it, we become a slave to it. And if we don't control it, ultimately it controls us, right? So that's why the good money principles, like healthy and positive money principles, like, for example, this is what I often said to my own kids. Money is good and useful. Money is a tool that makes our life comfortable and enjoyable. And then, this is very important, we become rich, not by luck or not by faith, but by hard work and by adding values to others or to the marketplace. One time I heard Zig Ziglar put it this way: most people don't have money because they don't understand it. They talk about cold, hard cash, but it's neither cold nor hard. It's soft and warm, it feels good, and it's color coordinated to go with any color you might be wearing.
That is so very true. So in your book, that is so very true. You talk about...
Yes, the money is very neutral, and whatever we teach to our children, that's what they learn from us. So it is really important to really help them with a really good, healthy money master mindset first, and then we get to teach them all the essential financial life skills, one by one.
Right. Now, you say in your book that there are 7 habits that parents should teach their kids to help them become money masters. So what are they?
Yeah, so first of all, number one, I already talked about this a little bit. Number one is to develop a money master mindset, right?
Right.
So I talked about the importance of helping them with the money mindset first. And then number 2 is to start saving early. We need to plant the seeds of saving habits early as possible. How early? Not when they are in their 20s and 30s. No, as early as 2 or 3 years old. Because I believe that harvest follows seed time. You cannot go straight into harvest, skipping, harvest time. Skipping seed time. So you need to plant the seed of good saving habits as early as possible. When they are able to walk around, when they are able to grab anything, I think that's the best time to start. So that is habit number 2. And habit number 3 is to create reminders, routines, and reward. If you want, newly, developed habits to last forever, a lot of experts agree that they should be 3 elements, it's called reminders, routines, and reward. And that's what really makes the habit, especially newly developed habit, last for a lifetime. Because, experts all agree that our life today is the sum of our habits from the past. And so if we want, new habits to actually stick in our children's day-to-day lives, so we need to create this kind of simple pattern, 3-step pattern: reminder, routine, reward. So in our household, in my family, reminder was the different reward chart and incentive program. And routine was my kids doing those reward chart program every day to earn money. And the reward was, commission that I gave to them based on the rewards. based on the chores and the activities they did that week. So
I want to stop you if I could for 1 second, because I like what you said. I like 2 things that you said. One, that they can learn as early as possible. I think a lot of parents feel, and I don't have kids, but I've been in education for 20 plus years.
You don't have kids.
I don't, but I've been in education for 20 years. I've been around some kids. That's probably why I don't have kids. No, but I think a lot of parents, what I hear from parents quite often is that they feel as though their kids are too young for responsibility. And I liked how you said that as soon as they can grab something is when they can start, because they may not be able to articulate the value of something, but they understand that it's valuable because they want it. So
right, exactly.
Right? So
that's why when my kids were only 2 years old, some people don't believe that, but that's exactly how I did. I began their money education when they were 2 years old, and now they are 14. They're going to be 15 next year. So as soon as they were able to grab things, like I gave them chores to do. So I gave them like simple tasks, like folding the laundry, right, or sweeping the floor. They didn't do perfectly, but that's not what I expected. I didn't expect like a great performance or perfection, but their willingness to try something new and the good attitude. So that's what they did.
Now let me ask you about how do you? I liked how you called it a commission. Because I was thinking, well, if you're paying kids for everything, then they're going to think that they're not obligated to do. Then like everything you ask them to do is going to be like, well, how much am I getting paid? But if it's, you know what I mean? Like, can you grab the remote for me? Well, that's going to cost you $1.50. Like, so, but I feel like if it's a commission, that puts it in a little bit of a different frame or a little bit of a different mindset. So, as a parent, how are you able to control that mindset? How are you able to control it so it doesn't go too far to where they're thinking they should get paid for everything that they do?
So that's why it's really important to teach this kind of money principles, money habit as soon as they are as soon as possible. Like when they're 2 or 3, their minds are still very soft and receptive and responsive, right? So they learn things quickly, and that is, they can actually formulate and that they can develop that good habit, which will become their second nature. And later, they're not going to even question how much, is worth, So everything becomes very like automatic and just, it's like very natural. So for my kids, they started when they were only 2 years old, and ever since that, I gradually increased their workload and, more enhanced and more difficult reward chart program and things like that. And then at the same time, I increased their commission. So, also it was like I was running a small 401k program. I was a boss. I'm a mom, but at the same time, I'm a boss, and they work for me, of course, for their own benefit, right? So they know what to do every day, before they go to school, when they come from school, and they do their work. It's really, because I respect them as a human being, not just a kid. I never say, go play. I always invite them to whatever that I'm doing at the time. And I always encourage them to come and help me. And I say, I appreciate your help. And that when you do with a good attitude, when you do a good job, here is your pay. Here's your paychecks. And there's a small commission. I tell them this is how much you're going to earn. But I don't do that for every little task. It's something that is really important to me, something that helps our family moving forward, something that is good for the benefit of the family, right? Like cleaning the house or, vacuuming the floor, not worrying the plants, but, folding the clothing and things like that, or, washing the dishes or washing the car, those kind of things. So those are the contributions they make for the family. So I reward that. I reward for their work.
I like that.
Yeah, and the great thing about reward is that it can be money, or it can be something like, going somewhere to eat ice cream or eating something, yummy, or watching a movie or something like that. The great thing is that it can be small but inspiring. Kids love to help their parents, and not just to get a reward, but they love help. They want to be a contribution. They want to be a part of the family activities. And then when we give them reward, it's a plus, it's a bonus. They appreciate, they love it, because the reward has something powerful to make them feel loved, appreciated, and recognized. So, if you have little children, I highly recommend you to start with small chores, and then, as the days or weeks go by, as they get older, increase those, work and, at the same time, money, and just celebrate, once a week. And we have the celebration day every Saturday, and then we did the, reward ceremony. They really loved it.
Oh, that's very cool. So what's another habit that you have them do?
Yeah, so moving to habit number 4. Habit number 4 is set high goals through expectations. This is what I truly believe. Regardless of how old we are, which part of the country we would live in, I believe that complacency is one of the biggest enemies to ultimate success. Because when we are comfortable, we no longer strive to, do our best, and we stop growing. And it's the same with our children, So I don't say to my kids, okay, just go play or do video games, do whatever you want to do. I always say, come and help me. I said that already. And also I kind of try to help them to, aim higher, reach higher. So I always like to create something like more enhanced, more difficult reward program so that they will strive hard to reach higher, to be the best they can, to earn more, to save more. So I believe that, like setting high goals and expectations with the children is really, really important because our children need to reach their full potential and bear many fruits in their lives. And they need to keep growing, just like us. Learning is like, ongoing process, right?
True.
So we should expect the same thing from our children by setting high goals through high expectations and also help them to set, those goals and encourage them to strive every day.
Well, that's very frowned on right now. That's very frowned upon, making kids responsible and making and setting goals. And, listen, and I say all the time, I tell people that I don't have kids, but part of the reason is because I understand what the job is. Your job is to make your kids, help your kids be able to take care of themselves. Like, that's the whole goal. At least that's my understanding. Keep them alive, obviously. Is the main goal, but then the other goal is that's my mom's joke. My mom's always like, "Listen, it was my job to keep you alive. I did it." I'm just kidding, but you keep them alive. But
the thing I believe that part of what I did was really equip them to really understand the responsibilities of adulthood. My kids started those kind of money education thing along with learning about financial responsibility ever since they were 2 years old, and now they are 15. They have grown a lot over the years, not only in the area of money management, but also in the area of assuming responsibilities. So, it looks like to me that they try to really make the right choices because they know that the consequence of their choices, that they are the one who are responsible for it. I was
going to say, it also teaches them that there's a direct connection between, their actions and a consequence. I took the words right out of my mouth. Right.
Exactly. And the great thing about it, starting this kind of journey as early as possible with our little children is because the not only journey, but also the result is really like outstanding because now my boys wants to go to medical schools and they understand that they are the one who will be responsible for their college education. So they know that they need to pay for their college education.
What? Now see, that's crazy talk.
Both of them.
I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine today. And I was saying it's a different generation. That's how my parents were too. You were expected to pay. It's your education. You're expected to pay for it. But it doesn't work that way nowadays. I mean, you got kids, quote unquote kids, and 21, 22 years old, and their parents are paying for their school. And back in the day, they were in foreign lands fighting wars and stuff. And now you can't get a job while you're in college. Like that. Just seems something is off now.
So what we are teaching now is not only just how to, manage money, but we are teaching them how to manage life. Somebody said that anything that we don't know how to manage, eventually we lose. For example, if we don't manage health, we lose health. If we don't manage time, we lose time. If we don't manage relationships, we lose relationships, right? It's the same with money. If we don't know how to manage money, obviously we lose money and then eventually, because we don't control it, therefore it will control us. So we teach them how to manage things in life. We really teach them about not only financial life skill, but just a life skill, how to live a good life, how to live a life with a sense of responsibility, with a sense of accomplishment, with a sense of success, and all this stuff from a very young age. So, management, I believe, is a key word, and you're helping them with this money management and the financial responsibility and all that from a young age, eventually will help them to be equipped as a man and woman they are created to be from the beginning, and also not only just a man and woman, but responsible and very highly motivated, empowered man or woman who can do great things in their lives, who can make a positive difference in their life.
Exactly. You know what? We're running up against a break, so I think I'm going to go ahead and take it now because by the time I finish this. By the time I finish talking, it'll be time for the break. And I'd love for you to go through the next few habits on the other side of the break. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. My guest today is Sunny Lee, and she's teaching us all about how we can change our kids from money monsters to money masters. And, not for nothing, a lot of the things that she's saying are very good for adults too. There's some cross-curricular application, as they say in the education biz, that can go on here. So I'm very happy to have her on the show. We'll be back in a few moments.
Making a living can be tough these days with so many jobs going overseas. If you love numbers and puzzles and want job security, you can become a tax specialist with an amazing 6-month tax course for Tax Mama. Operate your own tax practice locally or anywhere in the world where there are American taxpayers. It's a great way to write off your trips to visit family for months at a time. Everything you need to pass the IRS 3 special enrollment examinations is included in this course. Visit irsexams.school. And if you need more than 6 months, that's okay. Take your time. You're in the course until you pass the exams or until you unsubscribe and reject Tax Mama's emails.
Right now, you can get the credit you deserve. Just visit MrCreditRepair.biz. Let their expert credit repair specialists remove late payments, charge-offs, collections, even old bankruptcies fast and easy. That's MrCreditRepair.biz. Why go anyplace else? Increase your credit score today. At Mr. Credit, you always get a quality service, all at our everyday discounted price. Stop getting turned down for cars, credit cards, or even new homes. Visit MrCreditRepair.biz today. That's MrCreditRepair.biz. Your credit repair is our #1 priority.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Hey, we're still in elementary school.
From 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics,
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
and all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events? All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on SHRmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Place Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
New show on the SHR Media Network.
Sackheads Against Tyranny on shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
And welcome back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette, and my guest today is Sunny Lee. She's the founder of Money Master Kids, and she's teaching us how in the world we can change our children from money monsters to money managers. She's live in the Facey chat. If you're listening on SHR Media, you want to pop on over to the Money Talk with Melanie show page, or over to Melanie Teresa if we are Facebook friends. Hopefully we are Facebook friends. Also, if you are in the Black Conservative Media Group, the video is posted there as well. If you want to jump on and interact with Sunny Lee, you certainly may. Also, if you're not following me on Twitter, shame on you. You should be. If you have not liked my Facebook page, shame on you again. My Twitter handle is @MoneyTalkMel. The Facebook page is Money Talk with Melanie. And you can find me any and everywhere. But you should like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter. I put some funny stuff on there and all kinds of financial news, but a lot of good, funny memes, because I try to have a good sense of humor. I try to have fun, which seems to be frowned upon. But I don't care because it's my page. That's why the show's called Money Talk with Melanie. When it's called Money Talk with your name, then you can decide what goes on my page. That's how that works. But anyway, we're enjoying our conversation with Sunny today. And I think we were somewhere around the fifth great money habit for our kids. I think that's where we were,
Melanie,
yes.
Yeah, I think you have a great sense of humor and your energy level is amazing.
Oh, well, thank
and
you.
And you're funny too.
Oh, well, thank you. I try. I do try hard. Okay. Not everybody is enthralled with my sense of humor.
I love it.
Well, thank you.
I'm really enjoying this show. I'm looking at the comments below. Not many people actually wrote a comment about what they learned from me.
No,
hopefully they can leave some comments so that I can share on my social media as well. So, shall we move to habit number 5?
Indeed.
Yes. Okay. So habit number 5 is to learn money matters by playing. And this is really fun part. Okay. So wouldn't it be nice for kids, your children, to learn how to find a job, make money, pay the bills, deal with their customers, and run a profitable business, and go through trials and errors, stumble and fall, make mistakes, lose money, and get back up, all kinds of stuff.
Wait a minute. Have kids hurt themselves? No.
No, I want to say this. All in a safe environment at your home under your supervision.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So that's what I did with my children. What I did was that I helped them. I gave them, this is part of another reward chart program they were on. It is learning money matters by playing. So I show them a lot of money-related interactive online videos and website, and I help them to learn all about what I just mentioned to you earlier, all that safely. So part of what they did was, like, one of them was to do the, play internet money games and wrote essays about it. And before they graduated from elementary school, believe it or not, they wrote more than 1,000 essays about money, which made their learning more fun, educational, and practically useful.
Wow.
By the process. Yes. So this is what you can do. So there are a lot of money-related, nothing violent, okay? I don't believe in, showing them, help them to, fighting or, violent video games. I don't believe that. But there are a lot of money-related interactive online videos and websites that you can utilize. So if you don't know any of them, I have a list of those websites on my website. Yeah? So it is www.moneymasterkids.co. Go to resources. Under resources, you will find the list of those websites where you can actually introduce some of the most fun, useful, and exciting and practical money-related online video games for your kids to play. I mean, it's like, it's really fun. And, they can actually learn some real life skills from these games. And my kids are very savvy about, they're not like, it's not like they know everything about money. There's no such a thing like that. But they have a very wide understanding about how to manage money, how to invest their money. In their school, their nickname is money coach, right? So they learn. Among their friends, their friends, one of their friends recently came to them and asked, like, I have $1,000 cash sitting in my room. What should I do with this money? So one of my boys actually gave him a suggestion to put that money into mutual fund and things like that. So you see, I mean, they may not understand exactly what they're saying, but they learn some, cool real life skills from this game. So utilize some of them is fun, and if you have any questions, just let me know. I will walk you through. And then now habit number six is to go experience the real world. I did it with my kids when they were very young, and this is really fun stuff. When you teach your kids, this kind of simple basic finance, like budgeting and spending wisely and things like that, and when they have their own money through chores, right? They might feel really good about it. And that's the time when you take them out to the real world. Like you take them out to a shopping mall. Oh, what about this? A toy store. I took my kids to a toy store with their money they worked really hard for. And I help them to see what happens when, logic and intellect meet the temptations that life constantly offers. They were in the real world. And I tell them, you can buy whatever you want to buy with your own money. Right. And at the end of the day, to my own surprise, they only bought a couple of dollar items. They had plenty of money in their wallet. You see, when it comes to their money, if it is not your money, all of a sudden, our kids become very serious and very cautious and, very conscious.
All of a sudden, really they're fiscal conservatives now. All of a sudden, they went
very conservative.
Right? They went from being what do they call it? Oh gosh, I can't think of the word. They went from being socialists to fiscal conservatives.
It is a really powerful real life experience for them to see, they're hard-earned money. My kids had to work really hard for a whole week, right, to earn the money. All of a sudden, they disappear into someone else's hands in a blink of an eye and never to return. It's a really, really important life lesson they learn. So, take your kids to the real world. But first of all, you get to teach them how to earn money through chores, right? You give them not allowance, you give them a commission, and you help them to save the money. I first start with a small piggy bank, and then from there, I took them to a local bank to meet the advisors and bankers in person to, open their checking account. From their investment account, they even have their retirement account with their own money.
Wow.
So there is a natural progression of this learning, learning about money.
Now somebody in the Facey chat, there's a question in the Facey chat. Somebody asked how you feel about the game Monopoly. I know I have a couple of big fans of that game. How do you feel about that and teaching kids about money? The game Monopoly.
It's really important because, thank you for, living that, thank you for giving that question because the Monopoly teaches us something very valuable because, the stewardship, whatever we have here, we learn to manage it well as a good steward. We don't possess it. We don't own anything in this life. That's why it is really important to teach our children the good management skills and also at the same time the stewardship, with their talents, their unique talents and gifts and their, whatever they are good at. That's what is given to them. They get to really manage it well during their lifetime as a good steward. So Monopoly teaches us about that, the value of a good stewardship. And at the end of the day, you don't really take anything with you. Nobody leaves this world, with anything, right? So we get to live at peace. So, but then during our lifetime, we get to really work hard to earn as much as we can, like Benjamin Franklin, you earn as much as you can, and then toward the end of his life, he just, gave everything away. He gave everything away to other people, and, So, that's a beautiful life. I think that's what Monopoly teaches us, too.
Indeed. I agree. Did we get to the seventh one yet?
Yeah, well, the last but not the least, so habit number 7 is give back and share the love.
Yes.
This is really the most essential part because love is the answer for all. I mean, the job of teaching our kids about, money management, earning, saving, using money wisely. I mean, those kind of things wouldn't be complete if we don't teach them the privilege of giving money to others. I mean, giving is true having, somebody said. So as our children grow, in their financial education, it is really important to teach them the deeper meaning of the privilege of being able to give to others and share the love through giving. Because when there is love, there is life through giving and sharing, and that's how the love and life lasts forever.
It's true.
It can be kind of abstract and profound, but I believe that's important to share love.
And that wasn't in one curriculum that I had for financial literacy. Philanthropy was not in it, and I put it in there. And I really had a hard time convincing my students about the importance of giving their money to people who were less fortunate. Like, there were some kids who straight up could not get the concept. It was really upsetting. Like, I wanted to call their parents and say, "What are you doing? Like, what is going on there? Like, your kids are really selfish little monsters."
Yeah, well, definitely, we can look at it from that angle because, in my own experience, my kids, as I said, they work hard for their money through different chores at home, and they have the real money in their piggy bank, their wallet, in their, local bank, and their investment account. So what happened next? Interestingly, instead of becoming greedy for more and more and more money, my kids actually became more generous. And instead of thinking about, how to earn more, right, to put more money into their pocket, actually they began to think about other people like their parents, who work really hard for the family and other family members. And they were thought about how to use their money to buy something for them to make them happy. So I noticed that it's like a very normal and natural progression of, highly motivated kids with a healthy and positive money habits, and I mentioned above. So it is very important if you have little children, start early because eventually they will get there,
It's true.
And it's going to be a very beautiful transition from money monster to money master, and a little kid to a very, very responsible young adult.
Yes, and then they won't be in your pockets all the
Definitely.
They won't be in your pockets all the Listen, I have two nephews, and they stay in my sister's pockets. And I'm like, and then, when they were younger, they wanted something, they would, my sister would say, "Well, ask your Aunt Mimi." And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't good. I would just give it to them. Whatever. I was a terrible example. I was.
So how are they doing now?
Yeah, well, one's in college and the other one is just about to get out of high school, and they are still in her pockets pretty much. So,
wow.
But they don't really ask me for anything, but I still spoil them when I can because I'm their aunt. They're not my kids. That's terrible. I'm a terrible aunt. They're my nephews. I can do what I want. It's a great thing about having nephews. I'm just kidding. So
your nephews may be like your own kids.
Well, not quite, because I can get those jokers back when they act up. But where can we get your book? I've been posting links to your website in the Facebook chat, and I'll put that in the podcast. But where can we get your books?
Well, so my book is available on Amazon. It is Is Your Child a Money Master or Money Monster? Also on my website, when you go to www.moneymasterkids.co, you will see the link to a shopping area, and there you can actually find my book. And so this is something that I want to share with you at the end. I mean, so there are some kids who think that money grows on trees, right?
Right.
And some kids think that, credit card, their parents' credit card is like a magic wand. So I believe that if you have a kid like that, it is really a perfect time to start this money mastery journey, not later, but now, today, because somebody said that life is gaining mastery. And like any skill, mastering, especially financial responsibility or money management also requires persistence and commitment. But I believe that at the end, this good money, habits that we help them to develop will lead them to a more well-rounded, abundant, and fulfilling life. So I want to encourage all of you, and I want to invite all of you to begin this special journey with our kids, your kids, today.
Excellent. You did such a great job. I'm so glad I had you on. I knew the day I met you, you were going to be a fantastic guest. And you certainly were. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody in the Facey chat. You guys were fantastic. Everybody listening in SHR Media Land. And if you downloaded this podcast, which most of my listeners are downloads, and thank you. I want to thank you for listening to Money Talk with Melanie. Remember, all of this is very important because it's your money. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.